The ancient Egyptian pantheon was filled with imaginative deities of all kinds. In fact, this pantheon numbered hundreds of different gods and goddesses, whose importance often waned over the passing centuries. But one deity was always amongst the most important and sacred to the Egyptians. Ra, primarily considered the god of the sun, he was revered by every class in ancient Egyptian society, from its earliest beginnings. The Egyptian god Ra and the fantastic journey of the sun. This powerful deity has been present in ancient Egyptian religion since its earliest origins. Scholars agree that by the time of the 5th dynasty of Egypt, around the 25th and 24th centuries BC, Ra held one of the highest positions in the pantheon, and had a developed cult followings in many cities. Ra was often viewed as the embodiment of the sun at noon, or the sun at its apex. And as is well known, the sun was a major factor in many ancient civilizations. Either life and wealth or famine and death could result from it. So it should come as no surprise that the sun was revered in many forms by many different cultures. The sun appeared as a human with a falcon's head to the ancient Egyptians, who perched the brilliant sun disk on top. The falcon's head denotes that the god Ra had some traits in common with Horus, another ancient and revered deity. The latter, who also possessed a falcon's head, was revered as Egypt's tutelary deity and was regarded as the god of the heavens and monarchy. These two significant deities were frequently combined into a single, super-god, known as Ra-Horikti, or Ra, who is Horus of the two horizons. In either case, the two falcon-headed deities were easily distinguishable and occupied equally significant positions in the pantheon. Of course, as the god of the sun, one of the most important objects of worship in the ancient world, Ra was a principal deity, and was credited with numerous achievements. The ancient Egyptians believed that Ra was the creator of all life on earth, in its every form. From his sweat and tears humans were formed, and were ever at the whim of this mighty god. Ancient legends tell of Ra's wrath. When humans revolted against him, he killed many of them with his fiery eye. This is a clear reference to the devastating heat of the sun which would bring droughts and mass death. Because of this, Ra had to be appeased and worshipped. The god in the solar bark. Without the sun, there is no life. Without its light, there is just nothingness and darkness. The ancient Egyptians knew this and knew that the sun was one of the most important aspects of their collective well-being. And it was Ra who brought the sun into the skies every single day. The Egyptians believed that Ra sailed across the skies in a solar bark, upon which he carried the sun, thus lighting the day and bringing renewed life. Of course, he gradually moved away, and sank beneath the western horizons, as his journey made him pass through the underworld. This, of course, is night time. During the crossing of the underworld, Ra would take on a different form, this time having the head of a ram. As he crossed the regions of the subterranean world, he would be attacked by his great enemy, the snake Apophis, who attempted to stop the solar bark from passing. And each night, Ra would be triumphant, emerging once more in the morning to sail across the skies. At times, over the many centuries, the importance of Ra rarely waned. It was most infamously overshadowed by the reign of Pharaoh Akhenaten, who made attempts at a radical change in ancient Egyptian religion. This ruler switched to an almost monotheistic religion, worshipping the sun in a different form, the Aten, the beneficial sun's warmth. The people were appalled, and Akhenaten's regime was doomed to fail. As soon as his reign was over, the old religion was returned, and falcon-headed Ra resumed his rightful and all-important role. The god from the place of pillars. Needless to say, Ra had many regional cult centers and followings, and many temples were devoted to him. But the most important cultic center of Ra was the ancient city of Yunu, the Pillars, later to be known as Heliopolis, the city of the sun. The city was so devoted to this god, that it was colloquially called the House of Ra. Sun temples, pyramids, and obelisks were all erected in the honor of Ra, funded by the powerful pharaohs who were seen as the deity's manifestations on earth. Tombs were adorned with complex texts devoted to Ra, especially on his journey through the underworld, when he also transported the souls of the dead. Alas, like many other Egyptian gods, Ra's ultimate fate was sealed. With the rise of the Roman Empire, and the passing of the world into an entirely new era, ancient gods were destined to perish. By the time Christianity began spreading through the world, Ra was largely forgotten, its worshippers subdued and subjugated, dead and forgotten. But the relics, the frescoes, and the texts, they were left for posterity as a lasting memory of the sun god.